Hi darlings, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for today's video. It's going to be a very topical one because I'm going to be sharing some tips on how to look chic and polished when it is hot outside. Here in London we are having an epic heat wave at the moment. I'm having to film this video at 7 o'clock in the morning before it gets too warm, and a lot of questions that I've been getting from you guys both here on YouTube and on Instagram has been how to maintain your personal style, look really chic and put together even when the temperatures are really hot. So yesterday, for example, it was 33 degrees Celsius here in London, which I think is about 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is really hot when you're in a city. I know obviously there are many places in the world where it gets much hotter, but in the city it really does feel excruciatingly hot, and it can be hard to look chic when you feel like you're melting. So I thought I would share some top tips on things that you can wear and different style hacks on how to maintain your personal style when it's roasting outside. My video today is going to be mostly tips focused and less product focused. I am going to share a few examples where I have something relevant in my wardrobe, but if you do want even more examples and product suggestions for the tips that I'm going to be giving, then I have done an entire blog post with an edit of different items of clothing and accessories that work really well when it's boiling hot outside, so I'll leave that linked down below. But without further ado, let's get started with my top tips on how to look chic when it's hot. So the first thing, and I would argue the most important, is to really look at the material that your clothes are made out of. You want to opt for natural or naturally derived fabrics because these tend to breathe a lot better. They tend to actually absorb the sweat, they don't feel as hot on your body, and they don't keep the body heat locked in. So when shopping and choosing items from your wardrobe, you want to just make sure that the fabrics are more natural. So for example, cotton, you want to look for linens, even naturally derived materials like tencel and modal. They're going to be really great at allowing your skin and your body to breathe and not get too hot. Those kind of materials are going to be really lovely and breathable. And on the flip side, you want to avoid anything that's too man-made. Avoid polyester. Try to avoid anything made from acetate, nylon, those kinds of materials. And also, a little bit of a rule breaker, I would, when it's really hot outside, avoid silk. Although silk is really natural and really lovely and lightweight, if you're getting a little bit hot and sweaty, it can just stick to the body, and that is never a nice sensation. One of my favourite dresses to wear when it is super warm is this beautiful long lightweight dress from Isabel Marant. As I said, I will have more clothing options on the blog post. This is 100% cotton, and even though there's quite a lot of material here, it's 3/4 length sleeves and it is a maxi length, I find that because the material is so breathable, I never find myself getting too hot and bothered when I wear this or something similar to this when I'm out and about on very hot days. My Zimmermann shorts are another favourite during really warm days. These are made out of linen. The only thing I would say with linen is to beware that it does crease really badly, so I won't wear these if I have a long car journey or if I know I'm going to be seated for a long time, because they do tend to crease. And equally, if you've got linen trousers or linen shirts, you'll know that they crease around the crook of the arm or behind the knees. That's something just to be mindful of when it comes to picking your fabrics. A tip that brings me so much joy to share with you, because it literally sums up my wardrobe, is to avoid wearing black. Black absorbs heat and lighter coloured fabrics reflect heat. So just by being a little bit more tactical about the colours that you wear on hot days, it's going to make a big impact. Something I saw on Twitter this morning about dogs in hot cars was that black cars can be up to 6 degrees hotter inside than a lighter coloured car. And you only have to think about things like the white houses in Greece, in Santorini, those iconic white houses. They are painted white to reflect heat away from them. So wearing a lovely white dress is going to keep you so much cooler than black or navy, dark green, because those dark colours are just going to act like magnets and absorb all the heat. As well as white and light coloured materials, patterned materials are also really good on hot days because they can hide any embarrassing sweat patches. Again, you want to keep the patterns on the light side, so look for really lovely light floral patterns, ditzy floral prints, and there is so much of that on the high street at the moment. You should have plenty to choose from, and you've probably already got things like that in your wardrobe already. Something else really important to think about is the silhouette and the structure of your garments. Overall, we want to encourage airflow, we want our items to be lovely and breezy, and we don't want anything too close and clinging to the body. So we want to avoid bodycon, we want to avoid skin tight pieces. This is kind of skin tight, but it's so light and breathable that it's not really bothering me too much. But overall, look for things that are really floaty. When you're wearing something long, make sure it's got slits in it, because otherwise you're basically trapping air in the maxi dress of your skirt or in your trousers. So when you are opting for something a little bit longer, just look for slits and things that can encourage airflow around your body. One of my favourite things to wear when it's super hot is this lovely little play suit. This is from a brand called Love Shack Fancy. Really gorgeous lightweight material. Now this is actually another exception to the silk rule that I mentioned earlier, because this is a silk georgette, so it's really lovely and light material, super high quality and breathable, but it doesn't cling to your body no matter how warm you get. It's also a really lovely loose billowy silhouette, so I don't feel trapped inside, and the ruffles on the short skirt just make it really lovely and floaty, and I just never feel hot and sticky when I'm wearing something light and breezy like this. With the airflow in mind, items of clothing with broderie onglet, lace and cutout details are also really good at keeping you feeling fresh when it's boiling hot outside. So things like this, which have got little panels of lace, little panels of broderie, even down the sleeves, it may look like a beautiful design detail, and it definitely is a beautiful design detail, but it's also really practical at just keeping the air moving throughout your garments and keeping you feel cool on warm days. If these kind of breezy, lightweight materials don't really suit your personal style, then there's always ways of adapting your winter or your cool weather style into days when the temperature is a little bit warmer. So say your style is really sleek, really professional, and you like to wear structured, tailored outfits to work, blazers and tailored trousers, you can often find these design details in garments which are more appropriate for summer days as well. So for example, when it comes to blazers, look for linen materials and unblined blazers. When it comes to your really smart trousers, why not switch it up for some suit shorts this summer? Suited and smart shorts are so popular. They are really on trend this year. For example, my pink pair from Reese, I'll insert a little clip on the screen here. They're a fantastic way of maintaining that smart and professional look, but being a lot more appropriate for the warm weather. So I want to talk a little bit about accessories, because for me, accessories are the best way of showing your personality and showing your personal style when it comes to super warm days. I like to, as a whole, keep my jewellery really simple. Your skin actually gets really warm and swells on those hot days, so you don't want to be wearing anything too big and clunky and too close to the skin. So for that reason, I like to keep my jewellery really delicate, really dainty, but it can still be a statement piece. So for example, earrings are a really great way of showing off your style a little bit more during the summer, because they're actually hanging, they're not close to the body, and you can find some really beautiful lightweight ones. These are my current favourites. I've been wearing these in most of my recent videos. I'm sure you guys I'm bored to death of seeing them. But then when it comes to my necklaces, I like to keep it to a really delicate fine chain. You can still layer them up, but you just want to minimize the amount of metal that's actually on your body. When it comes to jewelry, I would tend to go for your more fine jewelry during the hot days, because any jewelry that's a little bit more affordable, where you might be sweating and getting a little bit warmer, it can cause the color to fade on any jewelry that's not silver, gold or rose gold. If you're a fan of ring stacking, which I certainly am, I would say to keep the rings really minimal and thin bands during the hotter days. Last summer I wore one of my favourite chunky rings on my middle finger during a trip to Barcelona, and I ended up getting almost like a rash. It sounds really horrible, and it was underneath where the rings used to be, because my skin was just kind of sweating underneath the metal. It was having a reaction. Really gross, I know, I'm sorry, but learn from my mistakes and just go for your really lovely lightweight delicate jewelry, rings and bracelets during the warmer months. When it comes to accessories, an instant way of looking more chic when it's hot, groundbreaking, is to wear a pair of sunglasses. These can make such a difference to your look. I'm going to talk a little bit about makeup in a second, but in general I wear so much less makeup on hot days, and so if I want to still look glamorous, if I've not got much eye makeup on, then just popping on a pair of sunglasses is an instant way of making yourself look so much more chic and put together, no matter what outfit you're wearing. Most of the time I will just have my hair tied up away from my face so it's not making me all hot and sweaty around the back, and then just add a pair of sunglasses and I instantly feel so much more chic. Your sunglasses are also an item that you're going to be wearing so much throughout the next few months, so don't be afraid to invest in a pair that you really feel fabulous in. Look at the shape, what shape most suits your face type. I always find ones that have a little bit of a flick on the edge just really help to elongate and create more flattering face shape. This is a new pair that I have from Valentino. They've got some really lovely detail on the sides here. They're a nice light coloured tortoise shell, which I think is so classic, and they're not too harsh and dark against my complexion either. So this is my current favourite pair. The High Street also has some beautiful options. Look for really fine wireframe sunglasses if you want to create a really lovely delicate look, or white frame sunglasses are really on trend at the moment as well. But as I said, the blog post will have loads of different options for you to have a look through. On hot days, I always like to swap out my leather bags for something in a lightweight material such as straw. So if you saw my 10 summer capsule wardrobe essentials, you'll know that a straw bag was one of my top 10 essentials. A few of my favourites for just grabbing and going is this fringe bag I absolutely love. It's just about big enough for all my daily essentials, and it's so much nicer to have something like this with you than a leather bag, which, I don't know, it just makes me feel hot and bothered even just thinking about a big clunky leather bag pressed against my body when I'm walking around town. And the ultimate chic straw bag that we're seeing all over our Instagram feeds, of course, is the Loewe bag, the Loewe basket bag. For me, a straw bag is something that comes into fashion every single summer, and yes, this is very overpriced for a straw bag, but because it's the kind of thing that you're going to wear year after year, that's not going to go out of style, and a bag really is one of the first things people notice about your outfit. For me, it was worth the investment, but I do have some more affordable alternatives on the blog as well. I personally think a straw hat is a really chic way of finishing off your outfit as well. If you don't find having your head covered makes you too hot, personally I actually find it makes me cooler if I don't have the sun directly glaring on my head, then a straw hat is a really fantastic way of finishing your look, and it's also a great way of keeping the sun off your face and preventing any early signs of aging. This is my current favourite. It's got this shell detail and kind of gemstone detail on it, which are really nice little design details which just elevate it from your normal kind of straw hat. Or if you don't want the top of your head actually physically covered, if that makes you feel hot even just thinking about it, then one like this, which is actually open in the middle but still provides you with shade around your face, is a really lovely option. I've been wearing this so much for both smart and casual occasions. It's got a little black bow around the edge there as well. I would just say to make sure your parting is covered because you don't want to be getting a burnt scalp when you're out and about on a super hot day. Okay, let's talk about shoes. Just the same as with your clothing, it's really important that you let your feet breathe on hot days. This means keeping your shoes, your footwear, as open as possible. The ideal thing that you want to wear is some open toe sandals. A few of my favourites include, of course, my Chloe sandals. I've been getting so much use out of these. They have a little heel for a boost of height as well where I need it, but most of my foot is open. Also on the High Street, River Island have this fantastic, beautiful pair of sandals for slightly smarter occasions. They have a very much Valentino-esque look about them with the studded detail, beautiful quality, and they're still very open, allowing the foot to breathe. Obviously sometimes you're not able to wear open-toed sandals, for example for work. I would say just be conscious of the materials, the same as with your clothing, that your sandals are made out of. You want to make sure it's as breathable as possible, so opt for something which is more of a fabric style shoe rather than a really thick leather, and try to avoid fabrics like rubber or materials like rubber at all costs, because that's just going to make your feet swell and sweat on the inside. If you absolutely have to wear shoes which are totally enclosed, then I would say wear cotton socks to start with, and you can also put a little bit of talc inside the shoe and on your feet, which will keep your feet dry, free from smelling, and just a whole lot more comfortable. And I'm just going to finish with some beauty and grooming tips for hot days. Overall, I think less is more, and that applies to so many of the things that I've mentioned in today's video, but especially when it comes to your makeup. There is nothing worse than a full face of makeup that's melted by midday as soon as the temperatures get really, really hot, and it also just clogs your pores. There are so many reasons not to wear a full face of makeup on super hot days. Obviously, I understand that sometimes you just don't want to go makeup free, and I'm exactly the same. I've got a day out today with family and friends, and I don't want to be going makeup free, but what I have ensured is that my makeup is light, fresh and natural, and I'm using clean makeup that's not going to be causing any damage to my skin. So I've gone for my favourite, the Bare Minerals Original Foundation, a really lovely clean mineral formula that's not going to be clogging my pores. What I like to do is take a small brush and just apply this in areas that need a little bit of concealing, and then I just buff it into areas that want a little bit more coverage as well. I tend to just apply an SPF lip balm, run some gel through my brows, and just a quick stroke of mascara, and that is enough makeup for me on warm days. Something I'll have in my handbag and that I definitely recommend is also a mist. I actually have so many mists in my collection, but it's so refreshing when you're hot and bothered to just give yourself a little mist to instantly perk up your makeup and just make yourself feel a lot more refreshed as well. This one is the Fresh Vitamin Nectar Antioxidant Glow Water. So this one also provides your skin with a nice little boost of vitamins, but it smells amazing and it is so refreshing to use. So I would recommend keeping something like this in your handbag. Styling your hair up is a great way of avoiding having too much hair around your shoulders as well. Often I will tie my hair in just a loose low bun or in a ponytail and wrap some hair around the base of the ponytail just to finish the look off really nicely, and that prevents that really warm area and just having, it's almost like having a scarf on your back when you have your hair down. So keeping your hair away is an instant way of reducing the body temperature by a good few degrees. And those, darlings, are all of my tips for staying looking chic when it's hot outside. I hope you found it useful, and I'd love to know your tips as well, so please let me know your tips in the comment section down below. And that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!